Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I pray everybody's doing good. Listen, I know I haven't really been on the whole TPUSA Candace Erica Kirk situation for a little while. I know I did an episode on it not too long ago when those recordings came out of Erica Kirk, but other than that, I haven't really been on it. However, there's been a video that has come out that's been going viral actually, and it was of one of the employees from Turning Point USA, and not just somebody who just got hired, somebody who's been there for years. She was also under Andrew Covett, and her name was Aubrey. I'm going to play the video where she speaks on herself getting fired, and there's different reasons for this, which is very, very interesting. It's very, very off, guys, okay? And this type of stuff will really just make you think like, why? What in the world is going on here? Why is this? It's just strange at this point, bro. I'm sorry, it's just strange. So she had to say, this is not an easy video to post. I was let go from Turning Point USA, and while I'm grateful for the opportunities I had, I can't ignore what I witnessed, especially how employees are treated and the direction the organization is moving in. I'm not here to be bitter. I'm here to be honest. This video is the beginning of me telling the truth as much as I legally can. I'm speaking up because I know I'm not the only one who's felt this way, and our First Amendment right matters too. Guys, this ain't just Candace no more. I know a lot of people have been seeing Candace come out, and you don't like Candace, and you're like, Candace is crazy. Listen, this is a whole employee who was employed by Turning Point USA for years. What now? She crazy too? I'm just asking. Is she crazy too? Let's watch the video of her speaking. Let's see what she had to say.
My name is Aubrey, and I am the former public relations manager for Turning Point USA. And I was a part of the recent kind of mass termination group at Turning Point, and was let go about 3 weeks ago. And at the time of my release, I was working for the ATK company, which is spokesman Andrew Covett's private business that contracts out with the Turning Point kind of ecosystem. So encompassing of Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action. I was working directly for him. Prior to that, I did work for Turning Point USA. So I've been with the organization since 2021. So my boss, Andrew Covett, and I had a very close working relationship. I talked with him on a weekly, if not daily basis. My tasks were assigned by him to me. Working directly for him was a challenge.
So she's not no regular employee. She's not one of the ones who just got on, who just got hired, or somebody who's still trying to work their way up to be right under one of the bosses. No, she's right under Andrew Covett. She talked to him all the time. Remember this as she's speaking.
And very intimidating because, he was Charlie's right-hand guy, always in Charlie's ear, constantly. And so it was very important to me to be an impressive and loyal employee to Andrew, to which I believe I certainly was. I did so many things for that company. I worked many, many hours outside of my general kind of understanding of what this job entailed. And I had no problem with it because I wanted to work hard for both Andrew and Charlie, for my coworkers, and for the Lord. And that was the expectation that Charlie had for us as well, was to work very hard. I really believed in the mission of Turning Point and what we were doing. So taking you back all the way to 2021 when I first started working at Turning Point, let's be honest. Being a conservative was not very cool or trendy back then. I think we really owe it to a lot of the work that Charlie put in and us at Turning Point put in. It kind of made conservatism more.
I say this all the time, guys. When Charlie first started going to colleges, it was not like it is today. Charlie was a whole movement. A lot of people have changed their minds with a lot of different things, especially politically, because of Charlie Kirk. I used to see the videos when he first was going out there. It wasn't much, 5, 10 people on the line waiting to talk to him. Went from that to hundreds on hundreds, and that's why he had to take his life.
Cool and trendy. But back then, it wasn't very cool. And so it was such a beautiful thing to be kind of plopped into this place of employment where.
Dang, so she's saying she was she was around way back then. This is before Charlie even met Erica.
Everybody was so like-minded. It was just such a fun place to work. I had nothing but wonderful experiences right from the start. But then in, I'd say around 2022 or 2023, things kind of started to change. The energy kind of had shifted within the organization as a whole. And I believe that stemmed from Charlie sort of taking a step back and kind of more taking that true CEO leadership role. And Charlie decided to entrust some of these people that had been working at Turning Point and some outside hires to kind of take more of a leadership position within the organization. And I don't blame Charlie for that. I kind of understood where things were going. I wasn't a big fan of the energy and kind of environment shift, but I understood why things like this needed to happen. These people that Charlie put into leadership positions, I didn't always agree with, but I was certainly in no place to judge the discretion of my CEO. I trusted that he put the right people in charge, but over time I pretty quickly learned that some of these people in leadership positions were not people that I felt were either prepared or qualified to be or deserving to be in that role. Fast forwarding a few years from that time I just spoke about in 2022, 2023, all the way up until September 10th, 2025. Obviously, it was an extremely traumatizing day for everyone. I think pretty much everyone in the world with any amount of sanity was slightly traumatized by what they saw. It was an extremely traumatizing day for me. And I worked nonstop. My phone received hundreds of phone calls on September 10th, thousands of text messages, and multiple times I kind of got reprimanded for not being responsive enough to people, but I literally just could not keep up with everything that was happening between my email and my personal phone and my work phone. It was just non-stop. And I've seen a video of a coworker of mine who was also released from Turning Point. She spoke about 20-hour days. Yeah, absolutely. Those were very, very real, especially for those first 2 months post Charlie's assassination. In December, we obviously had America Fest here in Phoenix, Arizona, and that was nonstop work too. And so really it's just been go, go, go for almost the past 6 months with like no extra compensation, no breaks, no real, hey, let's grieve as a family, you know, let's take some time.
So even high up employees, people who were working for Turning Point, was also like, we need to grieve a little bit. Clearly she's saying that because she's saying we just started working nonstop, hours on hours. There was really no time to grieve. So I know a lot of you guys were saying different things like, where's the grieving? Where's this? Where's that? Things look a little off. Things look this way. Even one of the high up employees is saying something similar to that.
And we'll pick back up where we left off in just a little while. And I wasn't necessarily expecting that. Charlie was someone who always expected us to push through and to continue to work. However, I think that these are extremely unprecedented circumstances in which we were all under. And so that was a huge turnoff for me at the organization, was just how everything has been handled since 9/10. During the memorial, for example, I literally did not sleep for over 48 hours. Despite all of that, I want to go ahead and fast forward to my termination, which took place about 3 weeks ago. And I was brought into an office to have a discussion just generally about my employment. It was myself, Andrew Colvett, and Marina Minas, who is the CMO of Turning Point USA, who I used to work for when I was just full-time with Turning Point prior to joining the ATK company. They pulled me into a room and they sat me down and told me that there were 2 instances they wanted to talk to me about, one of which is pretty irrelevant to this timeline, so I'm just going to talk about the one, which was an Uber ride that took place allegedly in the months of either October or November of 2025. And what was told to me was that a Turning Point executive got into an Uber one day and they randomly just kind of started talking about Turning Point. And the executive asked the driver, so what do you think about Turning Point? And the driver proceeded to tell the Turning Point executive, well, it's just really sad. I've heard the organization's really going downhill. There's not really a direction, and nobody likes Erica. And the Turning Point executive proceeded to ask this Uber driver, well, who told you that? And the Uber driver told the Turning Point executive that his daughter was good friends with a girl that worked at Turning Point way back when in high school. They had spoken about Turning Point since Charlie's assassination, and that, you know, this was told to him by his daughter. And the Turning Point executive, of course, asked, well, what's the employee's name? And the Uber driver allegedly said, Aubrey. Aubrey who? Aubrey Leitch.
So somebody from Turning Point got into an Uber and and the Uber was talking about Turning Point USA, how it's going downhill and nobody likes Erica Kirk. And the person from Turning Point said, well, who told you this? And the Uber driver said, oh my goodness, somebody who's close to my daughter. What's her name? Oh, the girl close to my daughter, her name is Aubrey. Aubrey what? Aubrey Leitch. Really? Boy, oh boy. I guess you really can't get yourself out of that one. Because when Aubrey says, who's the Uber driver? We don't remember his name. Like, it's a perfect lie to fire somebody. Well, we'll see. One of the execs got into an Uber and the Uber said this and this was said about you. And yeah, we got to let you go because of that. Really? How you know they're just not making that up? Is there any proof behind that? Well, not necessarily no proof or anything like that, but you know, it's what we see. It's what we see is best. Oh, okay. Fire somebody who's been in for years because of what an Uber driver said.
And the story was presented to me as one of the reasons for my termination. And I was just a little taken aback because, number one, I'm not really friends with anybody from high school. And a lot of that has to do with my political beliefs. I've been a conservative since I was pretty much a junior in high school. And so I don't know who I would have told this story to. And it also doesn't even align with my true thoughts of Erica at the time. I've actually known Erica since 2013. We were doing pageants around the same time as one another. She was in...
Notice how she said at the time. Oh, you thought we didn't catch that one, did you? You thought we didn't catch that one, huh, Aubrey? No, those weren't even my thoughts about Erica at the time.
Miss USA organization, and I was in the Miss United States organization, and we happened to cross paths at an event. So I've known Erica for quite some time, and my thoughts of her and nobody liking her do not align whatsoever with that timeline of October or November. So that was one of Turning Point's reasons for letting me go. So unlike my peers, I actually was given reason. However, there's another thing I kind of want to dive into. To protect myself, I am going to preface with Turning Point has not insinuated this. They never told me anything like this. However, I just have a gut feeling that I was terminated from Turning Point because I am questioning the narrative of what happened to my role model and CEO, Charlie Kirk, on the day of his assassination. What is being told to us in the mainstream media just really doesn't add up to me. And I'm really hopeful that one day it will. But as it stands right now, it just doesn't. And so I've been here in the background talking with people, expressing how I truly feel, because as an American citizen, I have the right to my freedom of speech and my freedom of thought. And I have a lot of concerns and a lot of questions about what took place that day and the events leading up to that day. It is from my own experience that you can't question the narrative and work at Turning Point. That is how I feel. That is how other people I've talked to feel. It goes.
You can't question the narrative on how Charlie's life was taken at Turning Point. So you just have to agree with what's being said. Tyler did it. We don't want to hear nothing else from any of you guys. Don't you even think differently. Don't talk amongst yourselves either. Tyler did it. She's telling people around the office, like, it's just strange. Like, I don't see any connection with Tyler doing it. Like, you guys don't think it might be something else, something more? Hey guys, Aubrey's saying that it may be something more, maybe something else. She doesn't fully believe that Tyler did it. Oh, Terminator. Terminator. Okay. Might a little dramatic. Terminator. That makes people look at you a certain way. I feel bad for the young girl. Like, she's questioning different things when it comes to. She's not questioning different things when it comes to TPUSA. She's questioning the whole situation when it comes to how Charlie got killed. Now she may be questioning y'all. I would. If I was her in this position, I definitely would. That's why she said I never thought about Erica like that at the time, because now she may be thinking differently, clearly. Crazy thing is, Candace said this wasn't even one of her sources.
Against everything that Charlie ever stood for. Charlie was someone who did question things, who did challenge the narrative. And I know that if anything at all, were to have happened to myself or another employee or any other peer within the Turning Point family, that Charlie would be doing the same thing if we were brutally assassinated in the way that he was. He would have never lived it down. And that is what I'm standing by as well. I am not going to just idly sit by and hope that the truth comes to light. I'm going to take action. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to talk to other people. And I refuse to apologize for having my own freedom of thought, which is something that Charlie ingrained in me and so many other young people. So really the purpose of me coming on here and speaking with you today is to just bring light to the situation of the treatment happening inside the organization. All of these people who have been terminated were the most hardworking, loyal, honest employees that Turning Point has ever had. And I know that because I've actually been at Turning Point longer than most people. That's public record. You can see it for yourself on these job websites. Turning Point's average length of employment is about 1.5 to 2 years. And so to be there for almost 5 years is actually quite some time. I've seen the media and marketing team, for example, turn over at least twice, consuming of about 40 people. And so I know that these people have been some of the most loyal, hardworking, and honest individuals to ever pass through the organization because I've been there, done that, and seen it all. I'm doing this for them. And I'm doing this for my friends who I consider family who are still there in hopes that they will start to receive better treatment by the leadership there because nobody deserves to be let go without cause. And frankly, it's a loss for Turning Point. We're all going to be better off because of this because we have removed ourselves from an environment that was no longer serving us. And in my opinion, no longer serving the Lord, which was Charlie's entire intention. The other purpose of this video is to bring to light the fact that although Turning Point is an organization that is all about freedom of speech and promoting that, from my experience, it is certainly not a place where that is something that is really accepted.
Wow.
I didn't want to do this. I didn't want this to be the ending result for me or for Turning Point. It literally breaks my heart to make this video. But I know that I owe it to Charlie and that this would be the expectation for me. And so that's why I'm doing it. Everything's for Charlie.
Wow.
Overall, it's really disappointing to see the direction in which Turning Point is going. And that is maybe one thing right that they got about this Uber ride is I'm not confident in where it's going as it stands right now. And I'm really disappointed by that because I packed up and moved my entire life back to my hometown solely for the purpose of working for Turning Point.
Jeez,
that is how much I love this place. I just refuse to stand by, watch my peers be unfairly treated, and
got a little puppy in the background.
Watch leadership attempt to take over something that was Charlie through and through, and something that he poured his heart, soul, and mind into building and creating and maintaining. I appreciate everyone who stuck around for the entirety of this video, and God bless you all.
God bless you. God bless you too, Aubrey. Jeez Louise. You know, it's sad to watch things like that, you know. And like I said, I know a lot of people don't like Candace, but somebody like this young sister right here, Aubrey Leach, like innocent bystander, an employee who actually loved where she was working. Somebody who knew Charlie, somebody who knew all of them over there. They let her go for asking questions. Why not just answer the questions, especially for those who are in your inner circle? Like, just instead of firing her, making up a story about her, you should have took her into the office and started answering her questions. If you are authentic, I don't listen. Even people who are super TPUSA, super Erica, has to look at this and think to themselves, "Huh." They have to. Even if you don't even like Candace, you have to look at this and be like, "Huh." I told you some things are off. Some things are off with both parties. But this, come on, man. Come on. Where is the direction that TPUSA is going? What direction is it going? Is it going still in the direction that Charlie would want it to? Or is it going in the direction that somebody else wants it to? And who knows who that somebody else is? Time will tell. I do believe the Lord is going to show light on whatever it may be, whether that's good or bad. The Lord will shed light. Amen. Let me know what your thoughts are on this video. Actually, let me show you guys real quick what Candace had to say about this too. She spoke up about it. What's going on at Turning Point right now should be termed the Scottsdale witch trials. Good grief. I have now gathered first-person accounts that executives are dragging people into offices asking about their allegiance to Erica. Specifically, one person was told that an Uber driver told their CMO that his daughter was friends with an employee who didn't like Erica. Andrew Kovac then hauled the Uber mentioned employee into an office, questioned her about the driver's account, regarding which she was totally mystified. Another person had the Turning Point in-house counsel show up at her personal home, tell her she was fired. Hi, I'm outside. You are fired. Now, this is other people. And then demanded she not delete anything and hand over her company laptop. Jeez Louise. This is what's happening to loyal employees over there in Turning Point USA. My goodness. Let me blow this up because clearly we may need some contacts and some glasses around here. Forgive me. Another person had the Turning Point in-house counsel show up. Okay. Deleting thing, hand over her company laptop. Another young woman thought she was going in for a bonus because they had worked so hard on AmFest and have stopped since Charlie's assassination. Have not stopped since Charlie's assassination. Despite $250 million raised since Charlie's assassination, she was fired. Jeez Louise. No reason given. She believes Turning Point may have installed some sort of spyware on their company laptops because the previous evening she had communicated to another Turning Point employee that she wasn't fond of Erica's leadership style. Oh, wow. Wow. So you can't have your own opinions, especially if they're your personal opinions. My goodness. Wow. It's like walking on eggshells over there now. Dang, man. It's sad to see something that Charlie started and was an amazing organization, maybe going somewhere else that Charlie wouldn't want it to go. Like I said, I don't know if that's the case yet, but man, I hope it's not. That'd be so sad. It would be so sad. Justice for Charlie, amen. Let me know what you guys think about the video. God bless. Shalom.